I want to talk about something real quickly. And it's going to be titled, Even If They Changed, They Still Owe You an Apology. Me and a colleague was talking. And I realized that her and this other person is getting along well, and they're friends and they understand each other. But I told this colleague that person hasn't been very nice to me, and I'm great that they treat. Well, no, I'm not glad. I don't care. I said, your experience is not my experience. Just because you are friends with somebody and you're growing close with somebody does not mean that I should feel the same way about them. I'm not going to be really forced into feeling the same way. And then I tried to use an example of somebody else that she told me about, somebody else that she was talking to me about that she felt like didn't like her. But I didn't really have that experience with that person she was talking about. But then at the same time, I was not dismissive of her feelings. And see, I don't think that I would ever find a friend that I would never, a person would never match the kind of friend I can be to them. I don't think that can ever be matched. Because when she was telling me about somebody she felt like didn't like her, I didn't want to be dismissive of her because that person didn't do those things to me. She was talking about a bunch of things that this person did to her. And I didn't have that experience, but then I didn't want to be dismissive of her either, because people treat other folks differently. Just because they might not treat you one way doesn't mean they're not going to treat another person one way. You never know how they are towards another person. And it might not be something the other person did wrong. Just because they're nice to you, okay, they mean to somebody else, it must mean that the other person did something wrong. Or maybe it just mean that person is a friend to you, but not a friend to somebody else. Maybe that person really is a jackass. Just because they're nice to you, maybe they really a fucking ass. Okay? But it seems like she wasn't able to get it when she felt like this other person is starting to warm up and become nicer. And I was kind of telling her my experience, like, yeah, but she used her authority to be quite nasty. And then she did not get to know me for herself. She allowed other people to get into her head to treat me the way she did. And I'm good that she's warming up and seeing that she's wrong now, but she has been very nasty. And so what I'm saying is, I don't really want friends, because it seems like I just don't think people can match the kind of friend that I would be to them. It just can't be matched. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but I don't think people can do it. This goes on with my family and everything. Why are you telling me why you want me to feel some kind of way about this lady, because you and her are becoming friends? You expect me to feel this way about her, but she has not been that great to me. I cannot feel the way you feel until she treats me the way she treats you. Why can't you see it, but I was able to see it when you were telling me about this girl that you said was treating you kind of messed up, but she ain't never treated me like that. She's nice to me. But I wasn't dismissive of her, because I know that people treat people differently. Just because they ain't nasty with me don't mean they're not going to be like that to somebody else. So I can't just dismiss somebody else because of my own experience, like everybody else supposed to have the same damn experience. And just because somebody's really nice to you and really sweet and compassionate to you does not mean they show compassion to somebody else. That's your experience with them. That's good they nice to you. If they ain't nice to me, I don't have to see it. I'm going to see what they show me. That's what I'm going to see. I'm going to see what they show me, because I have not given them a reason to be so ugly. I have not done nothing to them. I have not given them a reason to be so nasty. And so, even when people start to change, for me, I'm past the point where the word forgiveness does not mean how people explain it anyway. So I don't care about the whole forgiveness thing, because that doesn't even mean what people say. Forgiveness has to do with you. And the way I heard somebody else explain it that made it more clear is that you're really forgiving yourself. When you forgive, you are giving of your future self. Like you're giving of yourself in the future. So to forgive is like you're doing something for the future, with their time we get that doesn't exist, but then you still get up and go to work and you go to appointments. So time exists somewhere in your reality if you're looking at a watch. So if I'm using the word future because we do operate over the time, or else we wouldn't go to work every day and we wouldn't have to wake up and all that stuff, you know. But so forgive is like forgiving of yourself for the future. Okay, forgive yourself. So it's almost like if it's even emotionally preparing or preparing spiritually for in the future. You're putting things away and stuff like that. The way she was explaining it is like it's what you're doing for yourself to build to create more of a to create more of the life you want for the future self. You know what I mean? So yeah, so forgiveness, that word right there, I don't even use that for forgiving other people because that is not the way people have been trying to explain it anyway. It's not about forgiving somebody who's done you wrong. It's not my problem to forgive them. I don't have to forgive them. What would I forgive them? What would I give them? Giving forth something to them. Giving forth something to them. What would I do that? Okay. So, but anyway, even when somebody has changed, they might still owe you an apology. Sometimes people have been so ugly and so nasty that they just might owe you an apology, and they owe you more than that, depending on how bad the situation is. Depending on how bad the situation is in some cases. They might need to say more than I'm sorry. They might need to do more than that. So yeah, I can notice that it might be changes in certain people that might have been nasty. I can notice the changes in them. But depending on how ugly they were, I need to see more than you just being a changed person. You might owe an apology. You might just want an apology. Okay? I'm not obligated to see your change and feel different about you. When you don't feel the need to freaking apologize, then I don't have to care about your change. You need to apologize. Or I don't care how good you become. You need to apologize for what you have done. Like if you might have had an uncle or whoever, this is just this is any old situation I'm bringing up. You could have had somebody who molested you. You could have had a mother that put you down every time you go through some kind of trauma. You could have been hurt by your family. Or it could have been a mother who's jealous of you, who always want to talk about how you look, who always want to criticize you. And all of a sudden, they're a changed person. You need to fucking apologize. You have been ugly for 50, not 50, like let's say you've been ugly for 20 years, 25 years. You have been ugly. You have made my life a living hell. And this is just, I'm not talking about me. I'm just speaking of a particular example, right? For 25, 30 years, you have stolen from me, or it could be a case of molestation. You could have kept insurance money from me. I don't care about you being a changed person. Because what you did was not a mistake. See, people need to stop saying folks make mistakes. No. That's not just a mistake. That's not something you did once or twice because you were going through something. You did it for a number of years. That's not a mistake. People need to stop doing that. And people need to stop using the, I was just human and humans. No. You're trying to make it a reason. You're trying to come up with an excuse not to freaking apologize. You need to fucking apologize. And then you need to find a way to make it up. And that person might not even want to care what you got to say because you did it for too doggone long. You got to realize who you're hurting is human too. If we want to use that word, I don't know if humans really exist, honestly. But if we want to use the word human and talk about how you just made a mistake, well, guess what? They're human too, and they can only take so much of your doggone pain and abuse that you pushed on them. They can only take so much of that. So they're not interested in your positive change. You need to make it up. You need to make it right. I don't care about your positive change. You need to make it right. You've done what you've done for too long. And when I'm sounding like this, I'm speaking up for just about a lot of situations that's not mine. So when I'm talking like this is just in general, not just my situation. But when somebody have done something for a number of years that literally almost killed you, and then they didn't even care. They were so cold. They didn't care that you almost died. And then they were literally mad that you didn't even die. They were mad that you didn't die. Oh, I don't care about your positive change. What the hell? What demon or whatever were you possessed with that caused you to be so freaking evil? Like you were cold. What were you possessed with? Because that's what you need to be. Fuck a positive change. I don't even believe that, because you've been doing what you've been doing for too long. It's almost like something possessed you. What had a hold of your head? What had a hold of your head that hard that you had no self-control? And when I said that hard that you have no self-control, because I done been through a lot of shit. I had to fight for my mind. Okay? Well, I had to fight to stay as sane as possible. And it seems like some people, they're not even fighting for sanity. They just let whatever wants to fuck with their head, they go along with it. And they have no self-control. And they go and torture somebody else however they do it. Okay, they go and torture somebody. So it's like, I can't get your apology. Why did you do it? Why did you do it? It's not even about me being difficult towards you. You did what you did for too long. I need to know what's wrong with what was wrong with you. Why did you do it? I don't care about your change, because I've worked on changes before. Anybody who's ever worked on trying to change themselves know how hard that is. So somebody who's been so cold, like they had no heart at all, what the hell happened for you to change all of a sudden? Because change is hard. So so I don't know if I can believe you. Because what you did was too doggone evil. I don't know if I can believe your change. And I don't want to get into all this stuff, people change. I don't want to get into that. Even when you really, really want to change, it takes a lot of fucking work. It takes a lot of fucking work, because you might go through something. You might go through a particular time where, and you might be going through having a positive moment for a couple of months, and you might go back to your old self. Now, Oprah said this, and it's not that I'm an Oprah fan. I'm not a fan of anybody's, honestly. I don't watch too much of Oprah, any of her shows. But she did say this one time. People don't really change. They do what they do. They stop doing what they do for a little while, and then they go back to it. And that's the truth, because for the most part, people are still operating in their egos. And so when people are constantly operating in their egos like that, for the most part, you only seeing a change for a little while, and they might end up going to themselves. It might take to their old self. It might take a year. It might take a couple of months, but they're going to eventually go back to their old self. If they can't tell you why they did what they did in the first place, they need to explain to you why they did it. What was wrong with you? Why did you do it? Because if you can't tell me why you did it, and you say, because people make mistakes, your ass going to go right back to it. You just changed for a little while, but you're going to go back to it. So I don't know if I can trust you. And it's not about not giving people chances. All that people change stuff, I can't get with that. I can't get with that. Because they need to be able to tell you why they did it. And then they need to prove themselves. And if they can't do that, they don't deserve you. You've been good to them, and they've been nothing but ugly to you, and all of a sudden they turn around and seem to be a nice person. They don't deserve you until they can tell you why they did what they did, and then they need to turn around and prove themselves. And if they can't do that, they don't deserve you. And I'm talking to people who have been good to folks who just want to do nothing but constantly be evil, and that can be family, because a lot of times that's family. Okay, in a lot of cases, that's family. And sometimes it's the mother. Sometimes it's folks that's hard to get away from, like your mother or something. Or it could be your father. So no, I don't care about your changes. I don't care about giving you another chance. I don't care about all that stuff that they want to brainwash us with. You're not going to be evil for 25 and 30 years and all of a sudden you having a good day and are supposed to be all excited about your positive change. No, when you're evil for that long, do you know how deep that is? 25 years of a certain behavior, that's like something that's very deep, right? That's something that's very deep. That's a strong, let me put it like this. That's a stronghold. Whatever it is, that's a stronghold. You're not going to change for a month or so, and I'm going to see a change for a month, and you're going to convince me you're a better person. You're going to have to prove yourself for a long time, and if you can't do that, you don't deserve me at all. Because I've done been nothing but good to you. But no, that's a stronghold. Okay, somebody was taken out of themselves, taken out of character, and they did something in a desperate moment. That's different. Okay, yeah. You did something in a desperate moment. But that's not something you always do. And then you didn't even think you would do it then because you were in a position where you was in a survival mode or whatever it is. Okay, I get that. That's different. But doing something for so long and tearing somebody down or whatever it is for so long and that person didn't do nothing to you and all of a sudden you decide to change and smile and be happy and then that person that you tore down for so long is supposed to just be all excited for you. No, no. And don't let nobody judge you for not easily giving in to this person either. Because that's a freaking stronghold. That's a stronghold. People don't get that. You're not going to be in a behavior for so long and you all of a sudden change. It don't work like that. Anybody who have worked on themselves, who's worked on their shadow, or who does shadow work, it don't work like that. It takes time. It takes work. It takes a lot of effort. You have to give a lot of attention to yourself. In a lot of cases, those people don't do that. They all of a sudden just feel like they have a change of heart, but they not necessarily putting in the real work. You don't owe them any kind of trust. You don't owe them your trust. I don't care how nice they are to somebody else. If they weren't nice to you, they haven't earned your trust. Whoever else they nice to, that person can trust them. But if they've been nasty to you, they have not earned your trust. So you can't go by what somebody else, this person's changed. Well, they need to prove themselves to me. I don't care what you say. I don't care that they're nice to you. They need to prove themselves to me because I was the one they were nasty to, not you. I don't like it when people do that. Like, why don't they get it? Why are people so lack empathy like that? Or just because their experience is different, they think you should think the way they think. Because their experience with a particular person is different, I'm supposed to feel the way you feel. I don't understand humanity. That's why I don't like humanity. I'm telling you that this person was nasty to me and what they did. And you know it. But you feel like I should like them anyway. Well, no, I really don't because I don't know how they just have not been a great person. Okay, and maybe they're changing because some stuff might be headed back to them. Maybe their tower is falling. Maybe they're changing because they're about to experience a tower that's going to fall. Maybe their world is going to come crumbling down. And I'm not going to feel sorry for them because this is a buildup of everything they have done to some other people. What's going to happen to them is they're becoming nice because they see their world is about to come to an end. Maybe they see their lifestyle and all the stuff that they thought they were going to get away with. Maybe they see it's about to come to an end, and now they decide to be nice, and now they decide to see how ugly they've been. You couldn't see how ugly you were the whole time you weren't getting caught. The whole time you were getting away with what you were doing, you couldn't see that you were nasty. Now that your world is about to come to an end, now you such a good person with a good heart. So I don't trust that. I don't trust that. You did what you did expecting to never get caught, expecting to always get lucky. And now that your world is going to fall apart, you're going to become a good person. No. You're not a good person, or she wouldn't have did it in the first place. Because what you did not have to do. You did it because you're an ugly person. What you did not have to do. I've done things that I did not want to do out of a survival mode that I did not like. That I was not even happy with myself for, and I don't even think about it to this day, because when you lack support and you have family that hates you and then you're doing everything to survive, what can you do? What can you do but try to survive the best way you can? And nobody really has your back. I'm not going to feel bad for trying to survive when nobody have my back. And then the people closest to you want you to fail. I can't feel bad for trying to survive. But at the same time, I'm not proud of it either, but that's not something that I kept doing over and over and over again, where you didn't have to do it. Some of the things these people did, they didn't have to do it. They get some kind of sick pleasure out of doing it, and not that their world is falling apart. They want to be a good person. No ma'am, no sir. And I don't trust you. I don't trust you. You're being nice because you think your world is about to fall apart. That's why you're being nice. Not because you care about anything that you've done. Anyway, that's it. And I'll talk later.